Oh, it's good to be back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a video, an actual video on my channel. I'm not going to lie. I used the World Cup as a chance in the end to take a tiny bit of break and recuperate and get ready for Manchester City coming back. And Manchester City were back today, and it was lovely to see City back on a football pitch, playing football, the blue shirts, the glorious blue shirts, and lots of lovely things to talk about. City, of course, if you don't know what's going on, if you had your head in the sand, played Girona today in a friendly to get that rustiness post-World Cup. Well, not to say post-World Cup, it's still going on. For many of these players, it isn't, though. To get that rustiness kind of shaken off a little bit. And they won 2-0 today. It wasn't a classic performance. It wasn't a vintage performance. But it was a fun performance of football that I personally enjoyed. And it just feels good to be chatting about what I know. You know, like, I love the World Cup and so on, and I've enjoyed it. But I can't say it gets the fire going inside me. You know, it doesn't get my loins going, man. I do want a bit of Manchester City. I do want a bit of fun. And Manchester City bring that to me, you know. They bring that spark, that energy, that life. And obviously watching the Blues, yeah, well, you know, as Jake said, I miss the Blues. Yeah, I was missing doing the videos too, so to be honest, I took about a week or two off just to sort out, look after my son, you know, and kind of we're still getting used to being parents, so I took a little bit of time to do that. But now I feel refreshed and ready to go over Christmas to make loads of content. There'll be 5 things learned tomorrow, which will be great, and then there'll be previews for next week and so on for the Carabao Cup. It'll be wonderful. There'll be loads of content coming, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. If you want to help support the channel, please do. Get the likes up on this video. Let's try and get a load of likes on it as well. And let me know down in the comments what you made, of course, of the game before I tell you what I thought of the game. So, that was 2-0. Of course, he was very much back to business. De Bruyne being Kevin De Bruyne with a goal and assist. His assist, of course, being for the one and only Erling Haaland. I will never, ever get bored of watching Kevin De Bruyne square it across for a tap-in for Erling Haaland. The beautiful simplicity of something so predictable yet so indefensible. What more can you ask for in football? Honestly, it's a joy for me personally to witness such complex and beautifully brilliant mastery of a very simple thing. I genuinely love it, and that's what De Bruyne and Haaland bring. Of course, it wouldn't be the classic De Bruyne performance without getting a goal as well, and he scored after a little bit of kind of terrible defending from Girona early on, and that was sort of the highlights of the game, really. City kind of got it done nice and early, and after that, really, they just kind of went through the motions a tiny bit. There was the odd spark here and there, and of course, I will talk about those sparks, but Girona probably slightly hard done by to probably not score a goal or two themselves. It was a good workout, though, and ultimately, that is the thing that matters. This, of course, was the team here. You know, let me just bring it up on screen once. Let me refresh it. There we go. Oops, I'm not going to show City live there. Sorry, I can't show their stuff. Here's the stats of the game. You know, City ended up with 53% possession to Girona's 47%. We had 2 on target. They hit the woodwork twice. Only 2 on target. Does that seem right? Probably is. I don't know if that's right. But yeah, well, there we go. Player stats. You know, pass success rate, Katongo there did really well at centre-back with 97% pass rate. Enrico Lewis and Gundogan, 2 academy players, by the way. At the top of that, you love to see it. Katongo, Shea Charles as well, and Gundogan there with the total passes. Touches Katongo coming out of top. Obviously, at centre-back, it makes the most sense there. But it's impressive. And the tackles won there with De Bruyne and Lewis both with 2 each. This was the lineup. City started Ortega in goal, Sergio Gomez at left back, Shea Charles and Katongo. There's his stats there, by the way. 97% pass accuracy, very impressive. Katongo with Rico Lewis at right back. Then, of course, we played Cole Palmer, Gundogan, and De Bruyne as the midfield 3, with Palmer kind of tucking in over the left of the 2 8s. With Gundogan at the deepest. Mahrez was on the right. Morgan Rogers on the left after injury. And Erling Haaland through the middle. And it was, to be honest, a really fun performance. We saw the likes of Alex Robertson get on, Claudio Borges, Oscar Bob as well got on the pitch, and Rowan McDonald. It's not let me stretch all the way down to the bottom, but Rowan McDonald got on as well. Only 4 changes, not loads, you know. We could have seen O'Reilly maybe, or maybe Dixon, but we didn't see any of them, unfortunately. But it was a good little run out, man, and I personally enjoyed it. What did you guys make of the game? It was fun. Jake said he's impressed with Borges. Seems to be what we're missing the first team. A pacey, high-pressing winger that makes things happen. I don't think he played well today, actually, which is fine. That does bring me to one of my most crucial points. It's also always worth not judging a player off one day. I saw some people talking about Borges being a little bit disappointed because he gave the ball away a few times. They expected more because of all the hype. I understand that, but it's also worth remembering that you can never judge a player that you've seen once. You can never judge how good they are. All you can judge is just how good they are on that day. Like, one performance will never ever show you how good a footballer is, because a shite player could have the game of their lives, or a great player could have a shite game, and you wouldn't be able to tell until you see a body of work, see a few games, and so on. So I would ignore Borges today being a little bit quiet, though he had a couple of nice-ish moments with some link-up play, but I would ignore that because young, horrible day, bit of nerves, maybe playing with the likes of De Bruyne and Gundogan and so on. It ultimately means nothing, man. It ultimately means nothing. What we do know is that he got some experience today, and to me, that is really, really good news. I thought De Bruyne looked good. De Bruyne did more today than he did for probably Belgium in the entire World Cup. I had a theory that Kevin De Bruyne didn't really enjoy that World Cup and didn't really want to be there. He felt a sense of duty for his national team to be there, but maybe wasn't really buying into the whole mid-season thing and over in Qatar. I got that impression personally. But for me, it was great. It was great that he looked sharp today. He looked sharp. He looked ready. He looked back at home at Manchester City, And of course, Kevin De Bruyne is Kevin De Bruyne. He's the kind of person who can win you a game on his own at the quality that he's got. And today he was the best player on the pitch, bar absolutely none. Haaland, of course, scored. He got his customary tapping. I actually think Haaland had a really bad game. I love Haaland, but he gave the ball away constantly, man. He really did. Pass accuracy was 67%, so not every single time. Total passes was 6 and 9 touches. It wasn't a masterclass from Haaland. Not that it really matters, but this was a good game for him to get his fitness up and get his kind of his sharpness back for these games, because apparently he had a small knock over the break, but he's been recuperating. I'm sure he's dying to go, and of course he scored as well. I was impressed, of course, with De Bruyne there. 77% accuracy, got an assist and a goal, 39 passes, 2 out of 2 tackles won. I was also really impressed with Rico Lewis. I mean, particularly in the first half. What really impressed me about Rico Lewis is just how at home he looks in this Manchester City side now. You can tell he's had a month to think about how he belongs now. Honestly, you can tell that he's had a little bit of time to really think that he belongs at this level, because he had that flurry of games, of course, and he scored his first goal and Champions League and all that kind of stuff. It was really exciting for Rico Lewis. But sometimes when you're in it, it doesn't really sink into your head. You're just kind of going through it. You're just experiencing it. You're just kind of feeling what it's like to be a footballer, but it doesn't sink in. Things don't really feel real until you step away from them and take a second or two to think, shit, did I just do that? And to me, there's a real subtle but obvious kind of acknowledgement from Rico Lewis as times passed, that I'm part of the first team squad now, that I belong here. I am this good and I belong at this level. And you can sense that with the way he was moving between midfield as a holding midfielder at times, of course doing the inverted midfielder thing, or right back. And that is really encouraging. This is a confident, brilliant young footballer, and I'm very, very excited. Which website is this? It's mancity.com, mate. mancity.com. Top of the morning to you, Scott. Top of the morning to you. Ruben's in the chat. Ruben McInerney. The man, the myth, the legend is here. Our son is in the chat. The guy who's given us sleepless nights last night. He was a icky boy, bless him. He had his his meningitis and his rotavirus vaccinations yesterday, though. And he's taking it like a champ. So, 8 weeks vaccinations yesterday. 8 weeks already, by the way, for the little guy. Before we know it, I'll be talking about him playing for Manchester City's first team in a friendly against Girona, won't I? Time does fly. The myth is true. But I love the little guy. He's wonderful. Did a massive shit on me today, though. I'll let him off, though, because he's a baby. But it was an explosion. It was everywhere. Anyway, but yeah, I was really impressed with Rico Lewis, looking very, very comfortable in the team. I don't think that's probably fair to say he didn't try much, Andrew. I think what you wanted from Borges was to get the ball and run at people directly constantly. I actually weirdly think he was trying. I think what you see with young players sometimes is when they come on the pitch, they try by trying to keep it simple. I think they tried to blend in, if that makes sense. Like, they want to impress Guardiola, so they don't try and do anything crazy until they feel their way in. Well, we want to see him get the ball and run at people, but it's not always realistic, you know. Sometimes you just got to be patient and calm, and we have to be patient with young players because they need to feel like they belong before they can express themselves. Some can, but some don't. Some take a little bit of time. Overall, though, I thought the game was interesting, man. He's just been watching me confused. Do you mean I've just been watching you confused, Ruben? You know, you're talking about yourself there. I can imagine he is. He's watching on Nicola's phone, no doubt. His dad waffling away. It'll be you behind the camera one day, little guy. But yeah, I thought it was a good, fun game. You know, I was impressed with Charles and Katongo. They're good young defenders, these lads. And they, Jado Katongo particularly was impressive for me. I mean, he's not really been around the first team that much, but only 18 years old. A really good young player. Of course, as well, Shea Charles, like a captain-esque kind of performances often for the youth team. Shea Charles, a really good footballer. 57 passes, 89% accuracy. Sergio Gomez had a decent little game as well. Where's Katongo? There we go. 97% accuracy. Guardiola will appreciate that, and you can tell that they are kind of familiar with what Manchester City do. Gundogan was absolutely fine. He was normal. Mahrez had a couple of decent little touches as well. Rodgers, I thought, had a decent little cameo as well. I mean, I'm hoping that he gets a loan because he really does need some football. He's been injured for a while, I think. Didn't get a loan just before the season started. I think that might have been because of his injury. I'm not too sure, but either way, I'm hoping he gets a chance now to get an EDS game or two and get a loan in January. But of course, this was a decent little performance. They started terribly, by the way, Girona. Couto, by the way, playing there, which was good to see him there. And Alex Garcia, of course, the link up with Manchester City, strong there. But they started poorly, but they came back and hit the post as well. They should have scored the crossbar, and the post, the header, and what should have been a tap-in after Couto went past. I think it was Katongu who fell over, unfortunately. It should have been probably 2-1, 2-2 or something like that, but I don't really care ultimately about the score. I look at the performance in the fixtures and what we can get from this, and it was a good run out. When you look at the players that we've still got to come back, of course, Edison, Kyle Walker, Joao Cancelo, and Nathan Ake not involved, Stones, who else have we got involved? Rodri, Calvin Phillips to come back. We've got, obviously, Julian Alvarez, who's ripping up the World Cup currently. He'll be back in the team, which I can't wait to see him, by the way. And who else have I missed? You know, there's so many footballers. We've got such a good bunch of players to come back who massively improve them. And when we've got the fixtures, let me bring the fixtures up over here. We've got, where's the fixtures? Let me have a look at the fixtures. Liverpool, of course, is this Thursday coming up, which is it's soon, man. It's soon. In the Carabao. It's going to be a very cold Carabao game, but that's, it's going to be interesting. I think some of the players will be back, and I'm looking forward to seeing who's back and available for this game. I might even try to get to it myself. I'm not really sure yet, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it is part of the preparation, and we are getting obviously closer to being ready. And I'm looking forward to it. It just feels nice to be chatting about City. Who impressed you guys? Let me know in the comments. Did anyone stand out for you today? I thought Oscar Bob was nice, by the way. Oscar Bob is a really nice footballer. He's so good in those tight spaces. The way he glides around, the way he reads the game, the way he just seems to have the technique just to step past the player or play the little 1-2 in the tight spaces, receive the ball in the channel. I really like Oscar Bob. I think he's a very underrated player. Probably playing in a position where we're really blessed and really lucky to have loads of creative players. But I like him, man. But I like him. I think Oscar Bob's a really intelligent footballer, and I'm very fascinated to see what his next step is, because I do feel like he could have a really big career. It's just going to take a little bit of time for him to find his home, so to speak, because I don't think he'll be at Manchester City, not because he's not good enough, just because the leap is too big and he might not get his games. But I do think Oscar Bob's a really talented footballer. And I thought Cole Palmer, by the way, looked decent as well. I think he's getting more and more used to this midfield role, but I do agree with people, and I said it myself before as well, who suggest that he should be on the right hand side. Put him on the right side of midfield, or as a right winger ideally. And he's absolutely excellent out there. He can't really create with his left foot from the left side channel because he's not that kind of player. He's all about the angles when he's cutting in towards goal, playing those passes, when he's opening up in his body to get shots off. That is when Cole Palmer is dangerous. But still, I still think he's learning that role. He's getting more and more comfortable there. And it does make me happy that he's, getting more comfortable in his skin as a midfielder for City. For me, he should be as a right winger, but, we've got Riyad Mahrez there ahead of him, which is going to happen. Mahrez, Mahrez was okay today. We'll see. We'll see if Mahrez sort of kind of slows down a little bit and Palmer gets more game time. I don't know if it will do, but we'll see. By the way, Stephen, could you please talk about Gvardiol? Look, I don't think City will go anywhere near Joseph Gvardiol. I don't think we'll go near him. He's a good player, but I don't think City will go near another centre-back. Josko Gvardiol, yeah, 20 years old, obviously. Messi did him the other day. I can't see City signing another centre-back. We've got 5 as it is anyway. I think they just use City's name and link it. We get linked to it together. Bruyne said we were really, really poor today. I don't think we were terrible, mate. I don't think we played well, but it was also a random friendly thrown together with some decent moments, some bad moments. Just not really anything to write home about. Apparently, Ake and Laporte are leaving in the summer. Well, I'll believe that when I see it, Brillo. Apparently, half of City's team leaves every year, but they never really do. So, maybe, I think one centre-back will leave. But even then, we'll still have 4 centre-backs, you know? So, I don't know about that personally. I would rather City put all the money into a left-back. I know people said he can play there, but I don't think City will spend 100 million on that because I think we're going to spend an awful lot of money, or try to spend a lot of money on Bellingham. And I think the focus will be on midfielder replacements. I didn't remember the Brentford defeat. Why would you do that, Frank? Why would you bring up the Brentford game, man? That was a lifetime ago. We do not need to talk about that. Soon that will be last year's worry. Literally, you know. But yes. But yeah, today was a good day, man. Today was a good day. City are back to business. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game, even if it wasn't a classic. It was just nice to watch City play football again, and ultimately that's all that matters. I will be doing 5 things learned in the morning video, and I probably will do a reaction to the World Cup final. Hopefully celebrating Messi and Alvarez holding the World Cup together. I want a photo of that, man. I want to see Messi holding the World Cup with Julian Alvarez, because that would be a photo and a moment for the ages. I would love to see that. The GOAT with a future GOAT. You know, that's what I really want to see. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Do let me know down in the comments who stood out for you. You're all superstars. I'll catch you tomorrow for a video in a bit. Bye-bye.